Chai with Manjula, a show about giving, featuring non-profit organizations, social activists, social entrepreneurs, and philanthropists who are giving back and making a difference.
Chai with Manjula is a show that is a must-see.
Today the guests are Dr. Deepak Chopra, Guru Raj Desh Deshpande, and Madhu Sridhar. Welcome to Chai with Manjula. Our first guest today is Dr. Deepak Chopra, a celebrity of international acclaim as a physician, a best-selling author, and a revered spiritual guide who advocates a holistic lifestyle. The Chopra Foundation that he started is dedicated to improving health and well-being, cultivating spiritual knowledge, expanding consciousness, and promoting world peace to all members of the human family. I had the honor of speaking to him about the Akshaya Patra organization that he supports as an advisory board member. The organization serves midday meals to 1.3 million underprivileged school children in India, making it the largest program of its kind in the world, for which it has also won President Obama's commendation. Dr. Chopra, welcome to Chai with Manjula.
Thank you.
You are the keynote speaker today at the Akshaya Patra event, and recently you have joined their advisory board also. So I would like to know what impressed you most about the organization.
I think what impressed me most about the organization is that it is love in action. You know, if love is there but there's no action, it's meaningless. And if there's action without love, that's irrelevant. When you have both, then you have something going on.
So true. And what is your vision for the organization?
My vision for the organization is that it is a model for what could happen not only in India on a bigger scale than it's happening now, but also globally.
And do you see yourself also taking it to the next level of introducing holistic wellness among these children someday through the Chopra Foundation?
I think the Chopra Foundation is already involved in some way. And we have a website called wellworld.org where we're trying to create global communities of wellness. So this is part of it.
Okay, great. And it is often said that when you give, you receive. Giving is good for the soul. Can you expand on that and tell us about the joys of giving? How is it good for your soul?
Well, everything in life is flow. And if you stop the flow, then that's called coagulation, strangulation, death. So every cell in your body is receiving and giving. Your stomach cell is not saying, you know, why should I make this nutrient for my heart? What does it do for me? The heart doesn't say, why should I pump blood for the brain? What does it do for me? It's one integrated system, and the system works only through giving and receiving. In fact, the whole ecosystem is that, not just your body, but the entire universe. And when you kind of feel diminished by giving, then what you've given is useless anyway. Most people find intense joy in giving and feel happier and better and healthier. In fact, the fastest way to be happy is to make someone else happy. And giving comes in many forms, material and non-material. So when you give attention, when you give appreciation, when you give affection, when you care, that's also giving. But then you take it to the next level and you say, what am I observing, what am I feeling, what's needed here, what can I do to serve the need? If you ask that, then the answer will come to you spontaneously. It's not rocket science. And when it comes, if you act on it, you'll be a happier person, healthier person.
I see. And what do you think of the NRIs giving back? And what more can they do?
I think NRIs have only recently started to give back without necessarily having a hospital wing on their name or a temple in their name. They are starting to give back meaningfully. They're learning. They need to do much more.
And what would be your message for our viewers on behalf of Akshaya Patra?
On behalf of Akshaya Patra, I think the best way you can serve your country and your motherland is to help the children of your country. And you know what Tagore said, every child that is born is proof that God has not yet given up on human beings. So if God hasn't, you shouldn't either.
That's a beautiful message.
Well, in Akshaya Patra, I think this is the perfect model for us to see that we can make a difference, and if we don't take the opportunity, we're missing out.
Okay. You are a public figure and a household name in the U.S. and around the world. Is there something about you that people don't know, or is there a myth that I could take credit for revealing today?
Yeah, you can tell them my wife and my children don't take me seriously, and that's,
okay.
I'm very lucky for that.
Isn't that always the case?
Yes.
And how many children do you have?
I have 2 children and 3 grandchildren.
Oh, that's great. And who is your inspiration?
I have many people that have inspired me, but principally my parents,
Yes.
both my father and mother. Public figures that inspired me originally were J. Krishnamurti and my own guru, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi.
Oh, I see. And your favorite book?
I have many favorite books, but one of my most favorite is Freedom from the Known by Krishnamurti.
I see. And are you writing a book right now?
I am writing a book. It's about how the universe began, how the earth came into existence, evolution, the development of the human brain, and ultimately the evolution of consciousness. It's a big book, and I'm co-writing it with a scientist whose last book was with Stephen Hawking, Brief History of Time and the Grand Design. It's a book about 2 different worldviews, the materialistic and the spiritual.
And another quick question, what would be your legacy?
My legacy will be easy come, easy go.
Okay, but that's not the case with you. You are much too modest, Dr. Chopra. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to your keynote address today and look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was Dr. Deepak Chopra, and it was great talking to him. Next, we have 2 guests, Guru Raj Desh Deshpande and Madhu Sridhar. A highly successful and well-known entrepreneur, Desh Deshpande is the chair of the Akshaya Patra Foundation, USA. He is also on the board of directors and chairman of Sycamore Networks, A123 Systems, Tejas Networks, and Sparta Group. Dr. Deshpande's Family Foundation is one of the leading philanthropic foundations in Massachusetts and India in the area of innovation, entrepreneurship, and international development. President Obama appointed him to the National Advisory Council on Innovation and Entrepreneurship in 2009. Madhu Sridhar is the president and CEO of the Akshaya Patra Foundation, USA. Under her leadership, Akshaya Patra's operations have been streamlined, and the organization has established 12 grassroots chapters across the country. Madhu and Desh, welcome to Chai with Manjula.
Thank you.
And congratulations on reaching the 1 million mark. And you know, whenever I talk to people about Akshaya Patra, there are 2 things that everybody wants to know, and I would like you to explain those to our viewers today. One is, what is Akshaya Patra? And 2, whose brilliant idea was it? Who is the founder, the visionary behind this?
Akshaya Patra are really 2 Sanskrit words. Akshaya means inexhaustible, unlimited, and Patra means vessel. So Akshaya Patra aptly reflects the mission of the organization, which is to provide unlimited amount of food to children. And our vision is essentially no child shall be deprived of education because of hunger. So it's a school meal program, and for many children that are attending the school, this is their only complete meal for the day. And this meal serves as an incentive for these children to come to school, to stay in school, and provides them with the nutrition that they need in order to focus on learning and develop their cognitive abilities. So it's really a strategy, it's a strategic intervention in education aimed at breaking the cycle of poverty for the children.
Wonderful. You're addressing 2 problems with one solution.
Exactly.
And who was the founder or visionary behind this?
Well, I think the program really got started off in ISKCON, Bangalore.
Okay.
The person who heads it, Madhu Das, a lot of your audience will probably relate to him because he's a graduate of IIT Bombay.
I see.
And the other person, Chanchulpati Dasa, is a gold medalist from IISc. So both of these people are people that relate to engineers and have degrees from IISc and IITs and so on. But they've chosen to become Swamijis. And so not only do they bring their compassion and passion to serve the humanity, but they also have the intellectual power and the technical know-how.
I see.
And so, and that's a lot of the reason why the program has scaled so well. Because there's a lot of people who feel the compassion for the hungry kids and want to do something, but I don't think they can imagine feeding 1 million, 5 million kids.
That is remarkable.
And I think that's the magic that can happen when you can actually combine the compassion with the new technology and the know-how, the management skills, and so on.
And how long have you been involved with Akshaya Patra, and what attracted you to the organization?
Well, the Deshpande Foundation does a bigger program in India called the Social Innovation Sandbox, where we have an area in north part of Karnataka where we fund about 60 nonprofits. And Akshaya Patra is one of those nonprofits. And they built their biggest kitchen in this area, which actually today serves close to 200,000 meals a day.
Yeah, I heard that one of your kitchens turns around 185,000 meals in less than 5 hours.
That's the kitchen.
Wow.
And so they built that kitchen, they got a lot of things perfected and everything else. And I got so fascinated, and Madhu got so fascinated, so we all joined hands to see how we can help them. And I think we need the help from a lot of people here, but more than that, also I think this particular organization is an example of what it can be.
Right.
When you really bring all these good elements together.
It's a great model.
And make a big transformation of the whole country.
So describe the process of food production and distribution. How can you do it so effectively and at such a low cost?
Well, the kitchens are really leveraging technology. So we have gravity flow kitchens, which is essentially we have done this again, as Desh was pointing out, designed by Madhu Dasa and CP Dasa and a few others who have been involved with the organization, from the very beginning. And they are leveraging technology to produce these meals on a large scale at a very low cost. And for example, we have designed a roti making machine, chapati making machine, that can produce 40,000 chapatis in 1 hour.
Wow.
Because when you think about it, if you are trying to feed children, 100,000 children, even if you have to feed 2 chapatis per child, we have to prepare every single day 200,000 chapatis.
Right.
And so, you cannot possibly start making, and we are providing them fresh meals.
Right.
The same thing with, with the cooking medium is steam. So it allows us to, keep the food very nutritious as well as, it's safe and clean and all that. So we have taken a lot of leverage technology to our advantage to produce the meal. And when you talk about 12 cents, it's true. A lot of people ask, what can you possibly give it for 12 cents?
So that's the cost, 12
yes,
cents a meal?
12 cents a meal. So it costs us about $31.50 to feed a child for an entire year, and about 63 to 65%, depending on it varies from state to state, but about 63 to 65% of the cost of the meal is subsidized by the government, the federal government and the state government. So what it costs Akshaya Patra to come up with this meal is $11.50 per child per year. So now when you think about it, what is it that $11 will buy you? And it won't even be one large pizza. So if you are willing to sacrifice one large pizza a year, you can feed one child for an entire year. And that is less than $1 per month.
Okay, and how do you raise that $11?
And 50 cents, 85% of the money is really raised in India. It's only the 15% that at currently we are raising in the US. And what we are trying to do is essentially raise awareness of the challenges that India is facing, both in terms of malnutrition and hunger for the children, as well as access to education. Because many people, they know, yes, there is a massive problem in India in terms of poverty, but they don't realize that 1/3 of the children, malnourished children in the entire world, happen to be living in India. So when you raise that awareness and then raise awareness of the solution that Akshaya Patra has to offer, they get very impressed. And then the cost. We are really doing it at a very low cost on a very large scale, because it's no small feat to feed 1.3 million children daily, which is what we are doing now.
Okay. So what are the other factors involved in making Akshaya Patra so successful? What is the reason for its rapid growth?
Well, I think what happens when you start solving a problem in such big scale, it's like having a company that has a big market share. So the resources that you have suddenly magnify. So you can get the best technology, best equipment, best experts. For example, the last year we had two big initiatives. One was with an organization called PATH. And PATH is an organization that works on micronutrients. So they take micronutrients and put it in a form which just looks like a grain of rice.
Okay.
So if you mix this grain of rice with another 100 regular grains of rice, you actually get the full nutrition that you need. So that's the micronutrients.
Okay.
And but it took a lot of technology for them to get to that point. Right. So now we have an MOU to test it out on 20,000 kids. So because of the scale, we can do these things and then roll them out across the whole thing to improve everything that we do.
Leveraging technology.
Right. And the expertise. We have a couple of experts in University of Illinois, who are the world's experts on soybeans. Soybeans are very nutritious and have a lot of protein. India grows a lot of soybeans, but they don't eat them. So they've been working very hard for the last 2-3 years to figure out how we can include them in the kids' meals.
I see.
So that it's tasty, kids love it, but also it's something that they like to eat. And so that level of resources, that level of thinking, you would not have in a typical non-profit organization that's just struggling to survive feeding 10 kids, 15 kids, 20 kids.
Right.
And so I think it's when you do things on scale, you then get the resources to actually solve problems in a bigger way.
And what is your goal for Akshaya Patra for the next 5 or 10 years, and your overall vision?
Well, we want to feed 5 million kids by 2020.
And how many kids are there to be fed?
We are right now at 1.3 million kids.
Okay, but how many more
how many
to
more
reach out to?
I think in India you could high school going kids is about 100 million, right? So it's a large number, but not all the 100 million really need all the help. So I think if we do 5 million, it'll be a big number.
Okay.
But also it'll be an inspiration for a lot of other people to do it. It's not, the goal is really to, make sure that people don't go hungry in schools, the kids, and the education doesn't stop because they don't get a good meal. And hopefully it'll inspire a lot of other people to do these programs as well. So.
Okay, and any other plans for immunization, deworming, and opening centers all over the country?
We have done on a pilot basis the deworming tablets, and we would like to, but we don't want to digress from our core mission of feeding the children. What I think, the way I think it can happen is by if other NGOs partner with us. And say, because with whatever we want to do, we have to raise funds for that. So the question that we have to repeatedly ask ourselves is whether we want to go vertically up or we want to go horizontally. We can keep adding, breakfast, deworming, this, that. But we are sticking and focusing on what we have kind of mastered, which is feeding the children at a low cost. And then, of course, we would love to partner with other NGOs to, provide some of these things, because we do have the distribution channel. So it's just a matter of adding on if it can benefit the children. Even for that matter, good water, clean water, pure water, everything can be added.
Okay, and real quick, how many chapters do you have in the U.S.?
In the U.S., we have about 12 chapters, and we will be delighted. We hope through these programs we can raise awareness of what Akshaya Patra is doing, so that more people come forward and say we would like to start chapters, because all these chapters are volunteer chapters.
Right.
We are really trying to build this organization as a grassroots organization. Because we think that the organizations like Akshaya Patra will last for a long time if we can build grassroots support for it. So actually we would love to have, when you think about it, Manjula, if 1 million people tell me that, Madhu, I will give you $11.50 at the beginning of the year, we can feed 1 million children. It's such an easy solution.
True. A little bit goes a long way.
Absolutely. But we have to, we have to build that kind of support in order to be successful. So the more you spread the word, the better off we are.
All right.
So in some ways it's easy to reach people in the Silicon Valley, in Boston and so on, but there's a lot of people in Louisville, Kentucky or Omaha, Nebraska,
Right.
people sitting there and saying, what can we do?
Okay.
And we would really ask them to reach out and look into www.foodforeducation.org.
Okay, foodforeducation.org.
Yes. And so if they can get in touch with us, they can open a chapter, they can go visit a kitchen. And I think, once you spread the word out, people always say, well,
How come I didn't know about it?
That's always
Right.
the impression. But it's amazing how hard it is and how long it takes to actually even spread a good word out. So.
But amazing work, amazing organization. I congratulate
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you both
Thank
very
you for
much.
having
Thank
us.
you,
Thank
Desh,
you.
and wish
Thank
you
you.
all the best.
Thank you very much, Manjula.
Well, the numbers are staggering. Millions of underprivileged children in India are out of school and engaged in child labor in order to earn a single meal in a day. The surest way to break out of the cycle of poverty is through education. Education can significantly improve the quality of life of a family for generations. Akshaya Patra simultaneously addresses two of India's most pressing challenges: hunger and access to education for children. In the last 10 years, the organization has scaled its operations and expanded its reach from serving hot meals to 1,500 children in 5 schools to 1.3 million children in over 8,000 schools from 18 kitchens in 8 states. And they have done that with a groundbreaking model that includes innovation, good management, smart engineering, and public-private partnerships. These nutritious meals that cost only about $31 a year per child serve as an incentive for children to come to school, stay in school, and to focus on learning. Their goal is to serve 5 million children by 2020, and their vision is that no child should be deprived of education because of hunger. A powerful story indeed. With awe and reverence, we congratulate Akshaya Patra and wish them continued success. For more information, you may go to their website, foodforeducation.org. And you may watch this show again at chaivithmanjula.org. In the next segment of our show, we present artists who lend their talent to promote social causes. Today's artist is Shonali Srivastava, and here's a short piece of a tabla performance by her. all for joining us. I'll be back with another inspiring story about giving and people making a difference. For Chai with Manjula, I'm Manjula Gupta. See you next time.